Okay, hello everyone. This is the replay for our open studio happening March 5th, 2023. This is our first of four that I have scheduled for this month, which is super exciting. I love getting to circle up with everyone. And these open studios are, kind of like I like to do. I don't like to overthink things too much. It's an opportunity for us to get together. It's an opportunity for us to create space this month, which happens to be a very auspicious month astrologically, which probably many of you are way more into astrology, way more than I do. I know just enough to be slightly dangerous and hopefully inspiring, but it is big. And it's actually connected to, ironically enough, the period of time when I opened my art center, the Creative Fitness Center, in '96. So I was doing a podcast interview with a woman, Emily Trinkus. I sent that out in the email that went out Friday, the Freya Friday email. And, she knew, she'd read that I'd opened an art center with no art background in '96. She's like, that's the last time Saturn went into Pisces. And I'm like, what? Because some of you know, like, I love asking people, what were you doing in '96? And for any of you, here right now, if you want to play the game, like, think back, if you can discern from all the years, what you were doing in '96. What was up for you? Where were you living? Who were you with? The jobs? I had someone comment when I was sharing, I have no concept when the last couple of days, she's like, I was born in '96. I was like, oh, geez. Starting to feel old. Anyway, but think back to '96. And again, I started asking people, inspired by Dr. Jill. So those of you who've done the coaching training or done Vision Quest, you've watched Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor's TED Talk. So she was the one who wrote the book. What was her book called? I'm just spacing it right now. Stroke of Insight. And she was a Harvard brain researcher who had a stroke and lost all her left brain ability. It took her 8 years to kind of remember who she was. And her TED Talk basically ends with, I found nirvana in my right brain, and I'm alive to let people know that it's there and you want to get there. And her video, that TED Talk, came out in 2007, 2008. I still can't remember exactly which year it was, but it was right when my book, The Artist Within, A Guide to Becoming Creatively Fit, came out. And it was like, nobody tells people how to get more creative. It was my experience. Dan Pink had written the book, Out of Your Mind, and how right brainers will rule the future. And then Dr. Jill's like, I found nirvana, but no one's like, here's how you get in your right brain. And I was just like, but anyway, she had her stroke in '96. I opened my art center in '96. My partner, Todd, right now, he started paragliding in '96. Another friend left the Navy, started doing creative facilitation in '96. So I've always felt like '96 was this threshold year, this watershed year, where people, realigned their life, in some ways dramatic, in some ways very subtle, to help them be in alignment, kind of take the fork in the road that led to them doing something that they really love, where they found their joy. And so this is up again, and it's actually a 2-year period, which is a good thing, right? So we can piggyback on this energy for the next 2 years. I'm super curious when I look back to 23 to 25, like what new things would have started, what new trajectory will happen. And what's really fascinating about this, if you don't need to go too deep into astrology to understand that Saturn is the energy of the masculine, the emperor. Some of you who know more, you feel free to type in the chat what you know about Saturn. Saturn is the lord of time and karma. But my relationship with Saturn is this organized structure energy, the laws, the rules, things that I've wrestled with, right? My inner rebel really is very anti-Saturnian. And then there's an aspect of me that loves creating structure within which we can create. So with Saturn moving into Pisces, Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac. It's the most spiritual sign. It's the dreamy intuition side. It is water, the flow. It is feminine. And so when Saturn moves into Pisces, Saturn's like, okay, let's bring those dreams you've been dreaming into this earthly reality. What do we need? And Saturn's going to try and help you find the discipline, which, again, speaking from experience, the discernment, everything you need to really make your dreams come into reality. And then, of course, those of you who have been in this conversation with me, the whole rainbow warrior, dreaming into reality, a new earth, like we're kind of at a tipping point with lots of things we really need and desire to make some big changes so that we don't continue down the trajectory that can be kind of doom and gloom. So to some extent, it's a little bit of a Saturn's like, all right, all you, let's live in love, not fear. How are we going to do that? Let's make it real, which could be just, I was just on another group call with another community, and I challenged them, let's keep the paints out. When you have friends or family come over, how many people can you get painting this month? Where you might otherwise be like, oh, I don't want to, they keep saying they're not creative, whatever. Like, this is the time where we get to show up and be like, yeah, this is actually really important. These things that, we get called idealistic, or, this stuff isn't real, or I've got more important things to do, that kind of energy. It's actually like, yeah, no, reclaiming your creative nature is actually tippy top of the list right now. And Saturn wants to help us do that. So we're going to begin our open studio in kind of a fun way, because there's also an energy of new beginnings. The new moon this month is on the spring equinox, which spring for us in the Northern Hemisphere, right? Spring is the new growth, the return of the light, the beginning of the buds forming and the flowers blooming. And the new moon is on the equinox. The new moon is all about new beginnings. And then we've got the new moon at 0 degrees Aries. So it's at the beginning of the first sign of the zodiac. So it's like beginning, which is also when the next Creatively Fit coaching training begins. So just going to keep dropping that in there. So we've got this new beginning energy. And I'm curious if any of you have felt this, like, comment or raise your hand or put a heart, or if you know how to do the reactions. But literally just the other day, I was feeling like, and it could be having just come back from Colombia and like spent a month flying, literally my head in the clouds. But it was almost like I have forgotten kind of how we do things in America as a human. Like, I was at a hotel, this hot spring hotel with a friend of mine, and I was like, can we just wear our robes down there? Do we have to wear shoes? Like, is shoes a thing? No shirts, no shoes, no service. Like, how does one work? Like, it feels like kind of this slate that's been wiped clean, that's encouraging me to just do things my way, which, I'm fairly comfortable doing, but there's always the next level, right? So it's kind of like, what if we had amnesia around things? I've often mused on that. So to start our open studio, the invitation is, and you can be working on anything, there are no have tos, there are no shoulds, but I'm going to create a structure you can play in should you choose. The idea is we're going to begin, and I'll kind of guide you. Let me just, well, no, I can't do it on here. Anyway, we are going to begin our first layer, which most of us remember that my first layer is all about like doodling. Oh, I'm just going to use this as my canvas. Okay, so I have an unstretched canvas here. It's okay, I have two of those. So pour out some paint. And even now, as you're scooping out the paint, like, imagine you just landed on this planet and you're here and you're find yourself on this computer screen with this woman that's telling you to squeeze these colors that are like these goopy, thick colors onto some sort of surface. It could be a tofu tray. It could be a palette. It could be a canvas. Wow, look at this color. I didn't even know I had that color. So let's get curious about what this creative process is. And like, what does this stuff feel like? And we remember, oh yeah, we use water. And usually we use these things called paintbrushes. Like maybe feel your paintbrush. So we're gonna engage our senses. Oh geez, I didn't hit people. We're gonna engage all our senses right now to bring ourselves present. And in the present moment, like we're not, well, most of us aren't painting right now, but we've never painted like in the present moment. This is brand new. So even just start, like, what is the tip of your brush? Do you have a round brush or a flat brush? I'm laughing because of course I have round brushes. All the circle people, like I just love everything round. Okay, but I have these big ass flat brushes. Look at this. So maybe I'll play with that. You could use your fingers. Maybe you get curious, look around. Maybe you have something, like I'm not going to do it because this is bearskin, but what if I painted with my rattle? I don't know. That could be fun. I got some incense. I got lavender. I think I'll stick with brushes. I've got rags. You can paint with rags. Move this color around. And take a moment and just notice your breath. Allow your breath to bring yourself here. And then perhaps you have one of these containers of water nearby. Put that somewhere where you can reach it. Stick the brush in the water. Maybe you punch the brush on the bottom of the water container. It's drippy. You see where I'm going? We're getting super goofy. Childlike, the innocent mind, the creative mind. And then let's see what happens when we put this wet brush on the paint. Oh my gosh, I can already tell this palette canvas is going to be so fun. And then like, imagine this is the first time you've ever touched a brush to the canvas. You can go slow, or you could go really fast. You're all muted, so you could put on music if you wanted. And then see what happens when you add another color. Maybe you'll get mud, or maybe you'll get, you know, I'm getting kind of a muddy purple. And let's receive for a moment that there's like no end to what you could do at this canvas. Like even if we were all painting with the same color, the same kind of brush, could we even ever all paint the exact same thing? Wow. There is so much possibility here. And are there many rules? You don't even have to put your brush in the water. And then like, I love following the drips. Okay, I'm gonna switch the camera here. Not that I'm like, this is an unteaching kind of experience. I'm unteaching you. I really love doing this, like following the drips and creating that space, that gap in between the colors. Okay, I'm not gonna win any cinematography awards, but you guys get it. What do you, oh, look at how that just happened. Like, what about this stage of the painting do you love? just right now, can you forget that there's any point to painting? Oh, we have lots of Deborahs coming in. Every time I look, there's a Deborah. Yeah, Jamie, who am I without my stories? Ooh, rolling the brush. Yeah, who says it's, oh, I've got white on here now. Oh my gosh, adding white into all this color is just so cool. I remember painting once and realizing that the canvas was like a drum and the brush like a, maybe this is a music making thing. Maybe we've forgotten all along. So then listen to the sound of the brush when you can't see. It's a paint jam. It's a whole other kind of paint jam. Huh. I can imagine sharing some of my, sending tracks to my musical friends, like, hey, put this in your next. So intend right now to just lose yourself in the possibility, in the unstructuredness of what you're doing right now. Maybe you switch brushes. If you had a big brush, you could go small. If you had a small brush, you could go big. Maybe what would be the most contrasting to what you were just painting? I'm gonna get some black. So what kind of different marks could you make? What would be the opposite? Imagine the brush. It's like a self-driving brush. It's like the Tesla of paintbrushes. Imagine it's driving itself. Where does it want to go? Like imagine you forget in each moment what it is you're doing. Get really like curious about the thoughts in your mind right now. Like, can you be so super present that just like white dots, put it there. Do that. Like the no thinkingness. And then allow yourself, like, this just made me so happy. This, like those red drips and the turquoise. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. Like I'm thinking of the pioneers who were on this land back in the early 1900s. Like if all of a sudden they were here doing this, they'd be like, all doing this is crazy. Maybe mix some colors together. I just made purple. Add water. Maybe go back to the big brush and let the water drip. We need more drips on my floor. And then what does the water do? The element of water, it's breaking up the, blurring the edges, stripping all the way down. So water can kind of soften, there's a T in there, soften the edges. And notice in your mind, notice if there's like a, what am I doing here? I got stuff to do. Like I'm not doing anything. Where's this going to go? Or what do you love about it? Like, just notice the thoughts in your mind. One of the things I love about this painting practice and why I love sharing it and why it's so powerful as a coaching tool is because it can really, really, really contrast our day-to-day. Right? Like all the demands on our time and our energy and all the things we have to figure out, we don't have to do that here. And yet, I think a lot of our dreams, our visions for our lives, for this planet, aren't so cut and dry. They aren't so obvious. They aren't so logical. So perhaps, it's like the way out is through, or the back door. Maybe the back door to achieving, producing, solving the problems is to create the contrast, to open up to that spaciousness. Kind of been a theme this year, last couple of years. So this canvas, we can declare that it is our own personal field of pure possibility. You can align with the fact that there is literally no end to what can be created at this canvas. So like, where in your life do you know that feeling of constriction, of have tos? And then can you kind of like, I'm seeing myself, like, what do you see? Like, I see myself like that falling back into a beautiful, warm lake. Meanwhile, look at this drip. Oh. It's like a canyon opening up. The veils parting. So the idea is always with this first layer, an invitation is to paint until you connect to that energy of freedom and spaciousness. It may take a little time, to get to that place of I can do anything I want here. Anything. I can do anything. I can paint anything. I can fuck it up. I can do it bad. I can be ugly. I can be angry. I can be happy. I can be idealistic and dreamy. I can do and be whatever I want at the canvas or in my art journal or on the pizza box, whatever you're painting on. Can you get yourself there first? That's I would encourage, get there first, right? Like where you don't care. You're not worried about technique or how to paint eyes or hands, right? Like just get in that creative space. And just us being that energy on this planet right now, that's the medicine. Because I know you all have been in circles of conversation lately, or you can imagine the circles where it's all the things that are going wrong and all the people that are so silly or stupid or wobble, like all these edges. But just by connecting to that possibility, just by thinking, what if this is all here to love us? What if there is like the storm before the calm. What are all the reasons why things are coming into the light? So as medicine for the world, I'm going to connect to the energy of possibility. I'm going to blur the edges, undefine the boundaries. And I'm going to start with myself. I'm going to forget that I think I'm not good at this, or I'm really good at this. So that's where I have to focus. What if we're meant to let go of the thing we've been doing for so long that we're really good at? I don't know. So, and then from that space, from this space of freedom and possibility, which this could take, like you could spend hours, days, months just on this stage, like this level, right? Like, I don't know what to paint. I did the first layer and I don't know what to paint. Just keep painting. Wait until you do know. Right? Or maybe it's like, oh my gosh, Whitney, I want to paint a lotus right now. Paint a lotus. Right? Like just practice that, like following the moment. So now the question becomes, I can move you closer. Once you get into that, like, oh, heck yeah, like I could stay here forever. Are you kidding me? Doesn't it feel good? This is energy work. This is your meditation. This is where you go to let go of all the stuff. This is what creatively fit coaches do, right? CCFC, this is what we introduce people. We create space, non-judgmental, easy space for people to just paint. First, just paint. And witness where there's fear, witness where you're like, but aren't you going to teach us something? Right? But once you're in that open, free space where you feel like, oh, this is so relaxing. All right, I don't care. This is just fun. So then the canvas whispers to you, what do you want? Of all the possibility, creative being, what do you want to create? What do you want to experience? What do you want for the world? This can be your artivism, your art reach. You can go to the canvas. You can think about something you've read or heard, something that generated compassion. Or where's the place or a situation that you've really like. I remember hearing a long time ago that if there's a place in the world that makes you, think not kind, loving thoughts, can you send that place love? I'm not even going to speak the words, but I think we could all latch on to multiple right away, right? You could paint. What would you want for them? What would you want that country, that leader, that part of the environment, the situation, whatever it is, what would you want for them? What would you want for the people in Syria and Turkey? What do you want to create into the world? And you can just choose, set the intention. You could type it in the chat. You could think it, imagine you're pouring that into the canvas. You could paint the words. You could paint a symbol. I almost always end up painting little hearts, just little hearts. I am feeling this energy of softening, of loosening the grip, the boundaries dissolving. The have tos or the it will never work. That's what I'm feeling. And I didn't have a agenda here. So you know that feeling of like, wow, maybe this very super cool thing that I didn't think was going to happen, maybe it is happening. Maybe it could. Think that. Maybe the marks on your canvas make you think of something. Like, what do the dots make you think of? What do the spirals make you think of? What does this black line make you think of? Interesting. This big black mark I made, that it looks like now my favorite drip is coming out of that big black line. Oh, I just thought of a snake. Let's make a snake. You guys know I love snakes. The shedding of the skin. I'm going to keep it kind of an abstract snake. Let's just see. It's like, oh, I didn't think I was going to paint a snake today, but the snake is what's coming through for now, just for right now. Doesn't mean that's what this painting is going to end up being. But perhaps I'm being offered the memory of like, oh yeah, maybe I have some skin to shed. Maybe there's transformation, or what have snakes meant to you? Maybe there's something that I didn't think I was going to enjoy, but now I am. That's interesting. And then follow whatever makes you happy. Like this white just looks super glowy. So yes, please. More of that. Interesting, isn't it? How the light looks brightest next to the dark. So it's like a conversation you're having while you paint. You can look at your palette. If you don't know what to do next, look at your palette and what color looks the yummiest. Grab that. Put that on the canvas somewhere. There may be a constant reminder of there are no have-tos here. There are no rights or wrongs. It's like if you've ever done a shamanic journey, this is like a painting journey. Like this just looked like a road to me. Steps, a ladder. Words, I mentioned that, but it's like a note, a memo, a message to the spaciousness, calling on more peace, more like validation of dreams. Things can actually go fabulously. Oh. This came to mind for a couple of years when I was understanding what it felt like to feel sovereign. Like the queen of my realm. I painted I am sovereign onto the canvas, but I also started painting because I say so. Because I say so. Just put it on the canvas. Anyone else like a recovering people pleaser? So that's why I do this, because it makes me happy, because I like it. I don't need you to understand it or approve, or in fact, someday I'm pretty sure you're gonna join me over here in creative possibility la la land, because it's way more better. And then maybe it's like, okay, but the words, I'm gonna paint the because I say so into the spaciousness. So imagining I'm like breaking up that energy, shooting it out, sending it to all the spaces and places. That kind of confidence, just that belief in oneself. That's good medicine for the world. Sending out because I say so. Validating people's wild and crazy ideas. You can use your painting practice to develop your intuition. Practice not knowing what you're going to paint. Practice being present in the moment and just following whatever strikes your fancy. It can be a color, it can be a shape. In the day of Lakshmi, I was just so grateful that what I was offering to everyone on that day was to just follow your intuition and let go of control. And all of a sudden I was like, I want to paint big abstract flowers. My logical mind could have been like, how's that going to get you to Lakshmi? This is a day of Lakshmi. And then in the video, 10 minutes later, I saw Lakshmi's face appear from beneath the flower petal. And it was just like, oh, yes. Right? So we can practice that, like, that ability to just detach, to release, to let go, to surrender. Words that you hear about, maybe, and you know, the kinds of books we like to read. Surrender to the release, let go. Death and transformation. Like, allow your logical, productive, goal-oriented mind, which is so valuable, but let it die for 10 minutes. Like, let it transform into just open space. Just practice that. See what happens. It's like playing with a different color. Oh, I don't normally paint with that color. Something different will probably happen with that color. Maybe there's a color that starts feeling particularly yummy. So what does that color symbolize? What is the nature of spring green? Well, geez. New growth, new beginnings. Okay, Carmel, I just had the thought, everything I do turns brown, just like everything I do turns to shit. LOL, processing. Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. We can be, right? We've heard that term, we're our own worst enemies. And understand that the part of us that tries to prepare for our inevitable failure is just trying to protect us. Right? But do you need protecting from that? See, if we don't go deeper, if we don't take the time to get quiet and distract our logical mind, distract the way we normally think, we can distract it with color and pattern and symbols. And from that place, perhaps look at very powerful thoughts like that, just more objectively. So, Carmel. Hi, Elizabeth. So think about, and all of us, we all know that feeling, right? It's never going to work. It always works for her. It doesn't work for me, blah, blah, blah. So just at the canvas, you don't have to think about the muck in the life, right? Just at the canvas, what can I do to turn the mud into, what do you want? Do you want it to be more colorful? Do you want it to be lighter? Right? If the paint's really wet, what can I do? Well, I could get out a hair dryer. I could put it in the sun. I could start another canvas. Who's to say it's a bad thing to put aside the muddy canvas for a while, let it dry, start something new? Right? You made the shit. Now you get to transform it. And you can do it in any way. There are no rules. It's not like wrong to just put it aside. Or you add white. You make bright pink. You paint hearts all over the shit. Right? Like, take yourself along that trail. You are the creator of your reality. And yeah, with that comes a little responsibility, which, we don't really love. It's kind of easier in the moment to just blame someone else. I mean, again, I'm only speaking from experience. But ultimately, that doesn't get us where we want to go. Because they're not going to show up and, dot, dot, dot. So if I wanted to turn the chaos into order, what would I do? Okay, so this is a different thing I've never done before. So looking at my canvas here, you guys get to tell me what to do with this. So you could type in the chat, and I mean, I'll have to pick one, but but you could type in the chat, like, yeah, Whitney, make that orderly, or paint it black, or paint the void, or paint a symbol of peace or intuition. You give me the prompt. Turn it upside down. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Oh my God, this is fun. Okay. It's like a art improv, right? When someone hops on the stage. Okay, so you're hopping on my canvas. Now what? Okay, I turn it upside down. Oh, Carmel, my mom would disagree since I have a million projects that have been set aside. Carmel, imagine this. Imagine that from each one of those projects, you got something, right? You got an aha, you had some experience that became a part of you. Maybe that's all you were meant to get from that project. Maybe people that focus on one project and get so expert at that, maybe they're missing out on things, or maybe just the world needs the dabblers. I love it. Okay, Beverly, develop the part that looks like a door or a window. You guys are so good. Well, my drip here And then there's, okay, so this is a window right here. But it's more like a crack in the. And of course, you guys can play along too, right? You can turn your canvas upside down. You can turn something into a door or a window. I think I'm doing a door and a window. Yeah, maybe you want a new door, a new window, a new path to walk, a new opportunity. You don't know what it is, but just paint something that, oh yeah, this is like window. It's got light coming from it. Putting the light between the darkness. I like it. Okay, let's see. Beauty. Add some magic dust like gold or white dots. Ooh. You know, one of my favorite symbols to paint is, so here's what's fun. So white dots, I have to find dark. If I want white dots, I've got to find somewhere that, you know, they're going to stand out, which, you know, I've got that snake. But, right, so that's a message like, so if I want to have white sparkles, there's got to be a place to sparkle. I could get my dragonfly paints, but you can't really see those on the video. Okay. Yeah, Carrie, so delightful to just enjoy the colors and the flow. Yes, snake in a field of flowers. Oh, I like that. A window to a fairy house. A snake in a field of flowers alongside a stream. What about adding more dark colors on top left over here? Okay. Okay, I'm going to blend this a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it is fun to have, you know, keep another canvas handy and use that to kind of like, oh, the hands, to clean your brush on the canvas. You guys are getting me in such creative mode that I'm stumbling over my words. That's always a good sign. I mean, kind of, sort of. Okay, dark. Oh, the dark coming out of the light. That makes me so happy. This portal you guys helped me create. Can you see how even like on a busy day, just coming to the canvas for that like 15 minutes to let go of whatever you were just dealing with, how valuable that is, how good it is for your brain and your body, bringing you back in a kind of homeostasis. Very calming. Okay, yeah, but the black, let's see, small brush. Okay, so whether you do this now or you do it later, of course, you could bring this same canvas back to any of the other open studios or just however, there are no edges or boundaries to this. But in the with the intention of offering to you a somewhat complete experience. Let's go back to the beginning, this dreams being offered structure to come into reality. Even if all you know is like, heck yeah, I'm up for some new structure, bringing dreams into realities. I'm up for making choices starting today for the next 2 years that will lead to new unexpected parts of my life, chapters, right? What would be a symbol or an image that can hold that can contain that energy for you right now? So if I said to you, like, I have this magic wand, let's use this one, a magic wand, right? And with this, you can create anything you want. It's going to take 2 years. It's going to be a 2-year process of unfurling, of transforming, of creating. What do you want to create? And it can be an energy. It could be freedom, right? It could be more peace. It could be an opportunity. I've talked to a couple people recently that have said the words like, you know, like, I'm retired now and I get to focus on my passion. Maybe you don't even have any idea, but it's like, well, that sounds good. So time for passion, more time, more space for diving into exploring my passion. Or maybe you want to share, you want to teach. So from this spaciousness and from these portals and from all this calmness and relaxation, if you could choose anything, what would be next? And maybe all you know is like, okay, my next is like this color. My next, what's next? Right? So this is the process. This is the process of reminding ourselves as consistently as possible that we are infinite creators, that we can choose to focus on anything we want. And since everything is energy, it has to behave by the laws of energy, which means what we focus on expands. So I can go to the canvas to bring myself present, to detach from the kind of logical, linear way of being, of doing. I can detach from my worry about my dad's dementia or my brother that's not connected to our family right now. I can leave all that behind. And then what would I wish to be bathed, to shower over that situation? It's peace, peace, calm. I can just go to the canvas and be that. I can send that to my dad and my brother. And this is what's up for me. More hearts. Goodness, more snakes shedding the skin. That would be really good medicine for both of them. And you know what? The trying to fix them hasn't worked. So I'm just going to paint what I want for them. Snake shedding skin. They have the ability to do things differently. They do. I believe I'll hold space for that change. And gee, there are probably a couple other million people on this planet that could use that too, right? So like I can expand that out. You know what? Just helping people understand snake medicine, just that is an offering to the world. You all have heard me say how in the book, in Rise Above, I don't have one right here, I painted the snake and I had a conversation with the snake as I painted him, and that's what happens. And the snake showed me how the snake's journey and the journey of the feminine is connected, right? Because they're both the cause of the fall of man, of all evil in the world, according to a certain story, right? It's fine. So the snake, for most of us, we understand like snake is transformational energy. I remember reading how like in an invocation, like help me to live belly to belly with Mother Earth like the snake. So when we reclaim the snake, when we see it for the powerful, loving medicine that it is, we also redeem the feminine. We reclaim the sacred feminine, which creativity is the feminine, the earth, the planet, Mother Earth. You see how it's all connected. Take creativity out of schools, take music out of schools, mine and rape and pillage the earth, suppress the feminine. It's all connected. And we get to be here right now for the liberation. It's a very different story, right? Than okay. So I want to open this up to, oh my gosh, people in the waiting room. I want to open this up to, we're going to do a little show and tell. If anyone wants to be like, okay, oh, look at this. Here's what I'm getting. Here's what I learned, or here's my favorite part, or here's whatever. Like, please, like, I'm so excited to see. So you could raise your hand, if you go to the bottom of the screen, because we've got 3 screens here. If you go to the bottom of the screen and you see all those little things and there's a reactions, and you can raise your hand and then you get right next to me and then you can share. So we'll do a little show and tell because we all want to receive the medicine you've been receiving. And then after that, we'll do a little Q&A in general and the Creatively Fit coaching. So if you have any questions about either in general or the Creatively Fit coaching, do that. Yes, Elizabeth, darling. Hello, hello. Maggie, I saw you like do something when I said that fixing them hasn't worked. I swear to God, I saw you. And so that's, yeah, very cool. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Whitney. Good to see you again. It's been a while.
Good to see you too.
So I've been working on one for a while, and I just kind of finished it today by adding the cosmetic egg. There's the Mobius in the back, and I finished that one. And I also have been working on my wings from the thing, and this I did little wings, but that I could take with me instead of the big ones. So thank you so much for all the encouragement, and I love going back to the classes and retaking them and everything. I really value everything that I continue to have and get to share, and thank you for the invitation today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Elizabeth. I love that you made the wings small so you could bring them with you. Right? So look at that story that Elizabeth just planted. I mean, I travel with books. Sometimes, I have traveled with paintings, right? But imagine a reality where people are like unpacking. It's like, yeah, I brought my symbol to, kind of help my journey, or, to bless it, or, we all travel with symbols. I remember reading about Atlantis, and every house had a symbol, a painting that was like the family, the house symbol. I mean, this is good stuff. Yeah, Carrie, hello, darling.
Okay, unmuted. Yay. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Good. I am on vacation for 2 months, and I'm in the middle of it. just got out of Santa Fe. The Art Center of the Universe was incredible. But so it was very fun to do this and just play with color. And so this was what I started out with. A lot of spirals. And then I call this my goddess star. Some people call it the Star David, but I give it more curves for us. And it just, the colors were just jumping out at me. And then when we had too much paint on my brush, I'd been working on Lakshmi from the retreat. And a lotus flower decided to cover her. So, and that was fun. And then I had a little more extra gold. So I just pulled this out and started fluffing it with different colors and different fun things. So.
Wow. Isn't that beautiful energy to put out in the world? That dancing through the
Yeah, throwing out good stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, it was really fun to connect again, because I haven't done much since the retreat. So good to see you and everyone.
Good to see you too. I'm looking at your crystal right now.
Oh, good. Tell her hello for me.
I will.
I'll get the earth to come pick her up one of these days.
Right. Well, hopefully you can come back in October. So Carrie's referring to the retreat we did here in October in Joseph, Oregon. And a bunch of you were here, and it's on the website, and people are putting deposits down as of yesterday for next October. So if you want to get in on that, I know it will fill. And the good news, I have the money to send for the deposit. So we will for sure be there with Peggy and David. Yeah.
Yay. Well, I don't know. I have a grandchild in New Zealand coming.
Well, how fun is that?
Yeah.
No, that's okay. It's fine.
I'm not sure how it's all going to fit together yet. So I haven't committed.
No worries. It'll all work out perfectly.
Yes.
Hi, Angela. Hello, darling. And then Carmel, I see you.
Hi. I just took your green tar class. Was the first one I ever took, and I just did it recently.
Yay.
Yes. So it was really colorful at first. It was a lot of darker colors. And just playing like a little child. So I was just throwing it on there. And then I put up some hearts there underneath, and we are the one, and I am love. And then the starburst wanted to come. And then when you asked for a symbol, nothing was coming to mind, to create a symbol for what.
Right,
and nothing was coming to mind. I started scribbling, and I got this. Can you see the dragon over here?
Ooh, dragon energy is so good.
Yeah, I was just scribbling it, and it went, oh, it looks like a dragon. So that's why I wanted to show it. I wanted to show my dragon that showed up. But
Very
anyway,
cool.
that's
Thank
it for
you,
today.
Angela.
Thank you.
So glad you're here. Thank you for sharing that. And
You're
if
welcome.
anyone else, if you haven't seen a symbol yet, like that's fun. Just let it percolate. Sometimes canvases wait and wait and wait. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is why you've been waiting. It's
Right.
almost like, a guide or medicine or something. It's like, well, you don't have a cold yet, so you don't need to take the cold medicine, but I'm here when you're ready. So paintings do that for me a lot. And I love that when you detach, like Carmel, you detach from like, oh, I've got all this unfinished work. It's okay. They're just waiting in the wings. They're like your army of angels just waiting. The battle hasn't started yet. If I dare use the word battle, but anyway, you guys.
Right. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Angela. I'm so glad you came.
Thank you.
Hey, Carmel, and you have to say your name because I feel like I'm putting the accents in all different places every time I see you.
Okay, no, you're doing great. It is Carmel, not the candy, but Carmel, California.
I love it.
So I had a lot of issues. I love this kind of stuff. This is the way I reflect. So let me see if I can. There it is.
Oh, I see it.
Okay, so it kept turning brown, and I kept adding more water. I didn't realize that I needed to wait in between the colors. So it was just mucking it all up. You need to tell me what to do. I need to, oh wait, that's freedom. So I figured it out on my own. And so I started to just put paint all over, and it was turning brown. I added more water and it wasn't so brown, but then it was super wet. And then anything else that I added just turned yucky. And so, but I was starting to write. Those are all letters, actually. Here's the F, an R, a couple of E's, a G, an O, and the M's down here. And then I was like, freedom is. So I started to do what this is. And then I realized I was going to do freedom is love. And then I realized in the layers, it's actually love is freedom. We find our freedom when we are loving and unconditionally loving, non-judgmental, the way you have to be with this picture. And then you said that you needed a dark spot in order to put white. And I was like, oh, that's it. So then I changed the really dark spots. I don't know if you can see it. I'm doing very good at this. See, I took the brown, waited till it dried, and then added white in a thicker layer afterwards and was able to get these shapes. And they're things that I have drawn since I was very, very young. Like when I would make a mistake on my paper, I would just make those X's until it made a beautiful star. And I remembered that and I was like, it's the same thing. So we take those dark spots and we make them light again. But I'm here on this life to learn patience. That's not something I have. So the patience in not waiting for it to dry, and the patience in relationship to give it some time to cool off before I go back in and try again. So that's actually my goal for the next 2 years, is to reconnect with all my family. I'm one of those that everybody else is together and I've been away for a long time. And I'm ready to go back, but that's feelings and stuff. So this is a great start for me to get in there and start feeling like what needs to happen so that I can do it in an organized way and it doesn't upheaval everybody and everything.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Wow, Karma, I'm so grateful for you being here and sharing that. And, you know, little things like I've heard people say, I always make the same marks. And I'm like, well, what do those marks mean? Like, how is that symbolic? That star, right? How is that symbolic of what you want to be in the world? You know, what you are. And, you know, the family stuff, I mean, my goodness, we can go and go on that, right? But in general, I feel like we picked, all of us Rainbow Warriors, we picked family that would contrast. You know, we picked like the super logical, linear, practical, because we're the dreamers and the idealists. And we love the logical, practical, even though sometimes they make us batshit crazy. But, you know, like they're our family, so we know them. So it's like, you know, helping to create this bridge. And then, you know, back to the no victim, and we are the sole creator of our experience, which brings with it responsibility, which can be hard, right? But I know for me, there was an energy, like I thought everyone in my family thought I was a little cuckoo. But ultimately, I wasn't valuing. I didn't see my own worth. And as soon as I did, that switched. Right? When I stopped giving a fuck what they thought and just because I say so, right? For me. Yeah. So, you know, so it's just, it's all so good. It's all so fertile. And then for all of us, you illustrated when you said, I just had to wait. You know, I'm getting super into Gene Keys. I'm doing the like certification thing so I can bring it into
me too.
Yes. And it talks about the gap, which is, you know, we know like our personal growth happens when we're alone and quiet. And oh my God, are we good at staying not alone and quiet? We are so good at not, you know, we're so good at avoiding that. And so the gaps, the pauses, like attuning to those, like, oh, this has to dry. This is an opportunity for me to pause. I'm just going to wait for my paint to dry and do nothing. But what's going to happen is I'm going to start thinking about all these things, right? So it's like, again, everything that we've perceived as like, oh, this is bad or wrong or inconvenient or blah, blah, blah. It's like, what if? Right? Like, what if this was part of my superpower? What if this was the whole point? What if I'm supposed to create mud so I could create the light, so I could appreciate the dark? I mean, anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's exciting. I just finished reading the Venus book, though it was introduced to me, Gene Keys was introduced to me about 5 years. So my world has been in upheaval for 5 years as I went through it. But I was like, well, I want to read the book. I want to get into that group, but I had to have read the book first. And I was like, they didn't even exist when I started. And so I've already done it. And I was kind of bolting at at the pause that I was expected. And I just got finished with the book, and I thought I was going to jump into the next one, and it started to get downloads. And I was like, oh, I can't, all of the reasons and all of the explanation was coming through, and I just love the pause now. So now I just have to start doing it in painting and every other part of my life.
Right? Yeah. So she's talking about gene keys, and you know, I'll be sharing more of that moving forward. But yeah, thank you, Carmel. I love it.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I appreciate you doing this.
Thank you. Okay. Cassia. Okay, you're gonna have to tell me. Kasha. So pretty.
Kasha.
Pretty
Yeah,
name.
thank you. I'm in New Zealand, so sorry to say I missed part of this morning, but I did do the 22-day Tara
Yes.
meditation with you, and I'll just show you. If I turn it around, I'll see if you can see it like this.
Aw.
So that's what I ended up doing. And my
Yes.
daughter passed away 2 years ago to suicide, and it was like she showed up on my canvas with wings, and that's not the way I normally paint. So I just thought that was amazing, and I really appreciate the meditation, and that's now sitting in my studio.
Wow,
So
beautiful.
thank you so much. I just thought I'd show you that, but I haven't taken part today because sorry, I missed part of it, but I'm watching the rest of it.
I will be sending out the replay, and yeah, I
good.
was kind of inner chuckling at people coming in midway where we're like, just nothing.
Yeah.
It'd be a kind of funny class to pop in the middle. So I'll send out the replay. Thank you,
Awesome.
Kasha.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello to New Zealand for me.
Oh yeah. I will say hello. Hello.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, how you doing? Yeah, so mine started, I don't know if you can see this, but let me see. Mine started, I was painting down kind of and just having fun with colors. And then the symbol that popped up for me was originally the fleur-de-lis, because I'm down here in Louisiana. And yeah, so for Mardi Gras, you know, all the colors and the fleur-de-lis, but then I turned it, I flipped it. And they ended up being little sea turtles, all hatchlings, swimming across my painting here. And then I was looking it up, and I was like, yeah, I think it's like a new direction, and there's a lot of abundance in that because there's so many of the turtles, and I have goosebumps. I just love it. Yeah, so thank you.
That is so exciting.
Yes.
I'm just typing, okay. Shameless mommy moment. You guys know I do this all the time, but so my daughter Jordan has a podcast. Hello.
Yes.
And it's called Oceans of Hope. And she just did an episode on sea turtles. And it's super entertaining. She gets really goofy because she clearly loves sea turtles, and they're fascinating. So
cool.
it's on Spotify and iTunes and anywhere.
I'm on her I'm actually have her on my phone, and I've listened to her while I take my walks. So yeah.
She gets so excited. But the one on turtles, and then she's going through like, you know, one of those forks in the road in her life, and her precious logical mind is freaking out. And we realized that sea turtles are like the perfect animal totem for her right now, right? Because it's like you've got everything you need, and wherever you go, there you are. And anyway, so yes, just everyone, please listen.
I'll listen to that.
Yeah, it's so fun.
All right, Whitney, thank you.
I love you had little baby turtles. The turtles are unbelievable. So they have, you'll learn this in the podcast, but the baby turtles, they hatch from the eggs, they stay in the nest for like 3 days, of course it's 3 days. And the crystals in their brain are like magnetizing, orienting to that beach. She's like, they don't come back to like the same square foot where they were born, but they come back to the same coastline. But in that 3 days, it's like the crystals in their brain are getting programmed to that spot on the earth. So when they come back, you know, it's like years and years later to lay their eggs, they can find that same place. I mean, what? They're just so cool. So anyway, just an example of all the loveliness you're going to learn when you listen to that podcast. Sandra, did you want to say hi?
Oh, hi. You know, I didn't take your first course, the Tara course, but I wanted to.
Yeah.
But then on my own, I got a painting here, and it's the first thing I've painted since I think I was in high school. And it's kind of it's not really Tara, or it could be Rasta Tara. Anyway,
Ooh,
I don't know if I can show it. Let's see.
please show.
So it meant something to me. I don't know.
Oh
Can you
my gosh.
can you see it?
Yes. Wait, I gotta pin you. Hold on. If I talk, then oh my gosh, she is goddess of liberation for sure.
She's she liberated me. I think it's a great start, and I feel so good. It's the first painting I've done, as I say, since I was in high school, which was a long time ago.
Right? Oh my goodness. That makes me so beyond happy. I love that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I loved it, and I did one with my granddaughter the other day. The two of us worked on it, and so we did that one too. And yeah, I hope to do this course. I have to look at the dates and everything, but
there are no dates. It's all like all my courses. I learned this anyway, some of you know, but anyway, all the courses have lifetime access. So you just sign up and you some people have done Tara like 3 times, 4 times.
yeah,
Right?
that
22
really
Taras,
called to.
so you could paint Tara the rest of your life. Anyway, yeah, so there are no dates. You just do it.
Okay.
You just join and it's there. It's just there forever until, whatever.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
I've loved it. It's been nice.
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Whitney.
Oh my gosh, so fun. Okay. Does
Okay.
anyone have any questions? Anyone curious about the Creatively Fit coaching? There are a lot of coaches here. You all could type in the chat, your honest experience with the coaching training, but oh my gosh, the community worth the price of admission, right, ladies? And there are a handful of men, but the ladies have kind of taken over. I mean, it is a lady thing. But that starts March 21st. And, the beautiful thing about it, because think about, like, I literally opened the doors of the art center and had never painted on a canvas. That has been the best part of my story because it gives people hope, right? It's like, oh, okay, so I don't have to have an art degree. I can just try this. And so you don't have to have any artistic ability. It's about this knowing and this attraction to this creative practice and being like,
Right.
I just spent time in my life liberating other people's creative spirits. Like I want to be that force. And there are so many ways to do it. And I mean, my gosh, we have coaches that, out of the gate are going gangbusters. And then I have coaches that message me like 3 years after the training. And they're like, oh my gosh, Whitney, I finally got over my fear. And now I'm doing all these things. And it's exactly what you're meant to experience on this collective remembering, oh yeah, we're infinite creative beings. So anyway, it's super fun. It's like 4 to 6 hours a week. You guys say how much time you think you spent. People, left brains ask that question. It starts March 21st. And anyway, it's the most amazing. Abby, you have your hand up. Hello.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't used these before, so I have a question. I have every intention of doing the coaching program. However, and I'm super excited about it. This is like the happiest I've been in a long time doing your classes, so thank you for that. But we are going on a trip. We're traveling. It's been postponed since pre-COVID. It keeps getting pushed back, so we're finally able to go. We're really excited, but it's on the 17th or the 26th, and so I won't be there. So I'm just curious about the timing, and then when is the next one going to open up?
Yeah. Well, listen, we all have lives. We all travel. I leave on the 21st. Fortunately, I don't leave till the evening of the 21st, I was super grateful to realize that for the kickoff call. Everything's recorded like I mean, you ladies who've done it, you could, but it's super flexible. And the whole thing is like, if I didn't make it flexible, how are we as creatively fit coaches going to share a process with other people that's not flexible when everyone's busy and everyone's traveling and everyone has things come up, you know? So really, I mean, if you told me we're going to be living in a van with me and my 5 kids for the next year, I might say, yeah, even there, you know, but being gone just for that first week, that is so not an issue. And the next one starts October or like September 21st. Yeah. But I would, if you know, if you're feeling the call and the juju and all that, I mean, again, like I'm just a big believer in following the energy, you know, and the logical. I've had people take the coaching and like shit can hit the fan and they're like, oh, this is why I was called to do it. If I had known, you know what I mean? Like so that would be my 10 cents or $10 million or whatever. Like, that would be my advice. Yeah, it's no problem to be out of town. None whatsoever. We have the curriculums available 24/7, and then there's a Facebook group that's easy to pop in and, you know, stay engaged, and calls are all different times. And anyway, it's very inclusive. So follow the energy, sister. Miss Katie, hello, darling.
Hello, hello. So any of you who are on the fence about CCFC, do not let timing scare you. The timing, I know Whitney said it's flexible, but having lived it and been there, done that, it's so flexible. You can, missing 1 week, 2 weeks, especially that beginning part of the curriculum is so easy. You could even do it on the road, watching the videos, and that could be your zen to get away from things. But the impact and the ways that it changes your life and the insight that it gives you to yourself and to the universe is worth that dive. So just, if you're considering it and you're on that 30-foot high dive, take the step and jump, because it's the best thing I've ever done for myself. And you can read in the chat, that's what a lot of people are saying. I said in there, some of my best friends are from this group of people that I've met on this journey. So it's beautiful and wonderful. So huge thanks to Whitney and to all of you for being there for all of us.
Right. Thank you, Katie. Oh my gosh. You know, I do think there is an example of creating your reality. I feel like I'm going to cry. Okay. Blah. Okay. Not that would be bad, but I just don't feel like crying right now. I love you all so much, the creatively, I mean, like I love all of you, but I mean, I get to know the creatively fit coaches. And so I just love you. Like I would move in with any of you. Like I just love you. And so that energy, there's just so much love in this group, and it's just inspiring and meets you where you're, anyway, so not a sales pitch, just an is. Just an is. It is pretty awesome. And I'm beyond grateful for my whatever self that created the coaching training, because that was just as crazy as opening an art center. You know, when it happened, it was like, what? But this one, I was like, huh? Help us in Africa. And I'm like, I can't really go to Africa, but you're in Africa. And, you know, that's literally how it happened. So, so if I had followed any kind of logic or timing, it never would have happened. So that's why, you know, it's like follow the energy and get excited for the bigger reason, maybe perhaps why you've even, I mean, it just goes and goes. Chris, you don't need to be on Facebook. And Catherine could speak to this. Catherine didn't want to be on Facebook, and she is, I won't reveal your Facebook name, but there's also a woman who is like Rainbow Paintbrush on Facebook, and she's anonymous just so she could be in the group. So so there are creative ways, but no, you do not have to be on Facebook whatsoever. There's lots of sharing in the Teachable platform and all that. That's a great question. Thank you. Okay. Does anyone else have anything that you feel like if I say goodbye, you'd be like, oh, I should have shared a painting or asked a question? Okay. So the bigger reason, or the most exciting, okay, Sheila, I want you to say hi. Just remember March. So I'm doing 3 more of these, which is just an opportunity this month. Even if it's that like painting for the people, painting for the world, painting for Turkey, painting for the belief that we have so many more solutions and problems, use this very, very snap, pop, cracky energy that's happening right now to really like piggyback off of it. And just get curious, little challenge, like how many people could you get to make their mark, even just on one of your canvases this month that have never painted before? Like we can all be that source of liberation for people. So that's a little challenge. What I'm going to do is just end the recording. So those of you who watch the replay, thank you for being here. Beyond grateful for you. And I look forward to seeing what you've painted. Share it with me. Tag me, email me. I'm super easy to get in touch with.